guys?
The only Protoss player I've seen win on this map is Zest versus Ragnarok, if you remember that series.
Right.
That's the only time I've seen a Protoss player win. Every single other time.
Is that King of Battles? Qualifier?
I think so.
It was recent. It was
or ESL. Maybe it was our first ESL back.
Maybe.
One or the other.
Splitting together. But regardless, yes, we are going to be kicking off this best of 5 qualifying match here on Curious Minds LE. We're in the top left-hand corner map. Spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner, we of course have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Korea. He is the general himself, representing Alpha X. We have Zoun.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the South Korean Zurich player. He is blue, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. It is Dark.
And I may have to check the statistics on this, but correct me if I'm wrong here, Light. Zoun and Dark don't face each other too often, but I feel like every time they do, it goes to the ace match. Sometimes it favors Zoun, sometimes it favors Dark. But yeah, it's kind of how it's felt throughout 2021. They kind of have a bit of a pseudo rivalry going on.
Yeah. I personally, I'm gonna be honest. I don't recall, but sure, why not? Yeah, they've had a decent amount of ace matches.
GSL code A, if I'm not mistaken.
They
face each other.
No,
those are the two that come to mind. GSL code A.
Super tournament.
Super tournament. Yeah, they face a super tournament.
Yeah. They've
qualifiers, sort of stuff.
Yeah, apparently they face off against each other a lot in the next tournament.
There we go.
But yeah, honestly, it's looking pretty neck and neck between the two of them. Actually, 50-50 this year.
There we go.
Win-loss.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is aside from the next tournament. They don't face each other too much, but specifically when they're against each other, they are neck and neck.
Yeah, that they are. Oh boy, and we'll see who's going to actually take a lead here in 2021 towards the end of the year. Who's going to come out ahead in the head-to-head between these two players? Oh my God, Zoun is opening up with a robo.
A very quick robo at that in a PvZ.
I mean, this makes sense just because again,
Twilight,
you got to do something crazy here. If you are Zoun up against Dark on Curious Minds, again, Curious Minds. It's so difficult to take a third base if you're a Protoss player. It's insanely difficult. What the hell does he have in store for us? Disruptor drop?
I thought this map was called Curious Minds, not completely gone minds.
Not lost minds.
Not lost minds. Yeah.
I'm feeling Robotics Bay right. Yeah, we go. We are going to be seeing some Disruptor drops.
Yeah, really good way of perhaps catching Dark off guard here, and of course it lends itself really well to deal against potential roaches, which are just insanely common in the PvZ matchup. Yeah,
exactly. So this is difficult to execute. Fun fact: Starduck did this this season in ANZ Champs against Pepe, and he died horribly.
He did.
Oh God,
I saw that.
Yeah, the Disruptors, they need to deal damage across the map, because if they do not, then the counterattack is going to be insane, because you just don't have anything to defend. Like, you're investing so much into Disruptors, into Warp Prism speed. Again, I'm making some assumptions here, but I'm assuming that Warp Prism speed is going to be on the way. We'll see.
You might as well grab it, right?
Yeah.
At some point.
There it is. Beautiful. So, and what's important is that so far this has gone unscattered, but the War Prism has revealed itself. Now Dark is well aware, and now he can start to prepare.
Yeah, I'm not sure how worth it is moving the War Prism here to deal with that Overlord. Sure, Dark is down in Overlord. Sure, he doesn't have vision on the other side of the map, but you kind of reveal your hand.
Yeah, exactly. And the other scary thing about trying to pull this off is that you're relying on your opponent not to micro or to mess up their micro, right? You're relying on them to not be able to split and respond correctly to the disruptor drop. We'll see if that's going to be the case. We have, oh my god, we have so many Lings on the way here for Dark. My god, Lings are a great response to this because as soon as the disruptor is dropped, then Lings can just close the distance and just dive on it.
Okay, not quite so. Purification overlands on one Ravager, which is alright this early on.
Hey,
He needs to start getting some drones.
Yeah, that was a great split, by the way, from Dark. He's
It really was.
only losing a single unit to that disruptor is amazing. What's interesting is that Zoun, okay, as soon as he finishes his second disruptor, so he's going to go for a double drop, he is immediately switching gears into Colossus.
Huh. Well, that's one way of dealing with the Lings.
Exactly. Speaking of Lings, Lings are about to show up, and oh god, the NFs, they have to get into in between the buildings, and it looks like some of them will, but again, Dark is here to deny the third.
Yeah, sorry, got some massive surface area on that Nexus. It will be forced to cancel. There are a couple of drones.
Yeah, again, the split's not bad at all. 2 disruptor shots only get 3 workers. Not bad. The War Prism does take some hull damage. But what's important is that, again, Dark, he did deny that third.
Keeping Zoun on such a low economy for so long. The third base is really important to get at this stage for the Protoss player. Zoun is just starting his transition, just threw down the Twilight Council. If he's not able to mine from this base, then he just won't have the resources to get the upgrades from that Twilight Council to produce from his gateways and his robos at the same time. Last thing you want to happen as a Protoss player.
Definitely, definitely. Meanwhile, again, the pre-splits from Dark were crazy. The disruptors didn't really get too much damage at all. They got 1 roach, but as amazing as these splits have been, what's important is that Zoun has kept his War Prism alive. Like, he still has potential to get more value with these disruptors, and sometimes all it takes is 1 good Nova.
But sometimes you just don't get that. Decent damage on the Roach Ravager.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And again, he kept us alive, and he just keep it. Even if he gets like 1 unit every single time, like, it's adding up. Slowly but surely, it is definitely adding up. And what's important is that now with these Colossus, Zoun gets his third.
He is able to secure that against the Lings. But behind all of this, Dark is not expanding yet. He is working entirely towards a Roach push.
Yeah.
There's the 4th.
I mean, I agree. Like, where the 4th base should have been thrown down by now. It 100% should have been thrown down. And we just don't have one here whatsoever for Dark. He's just making a massive wave of roaches. He's kind of putting himself all in here with 62 workers.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's setting up a drone in that position, but hasn't actually gone for it yet. I guess he wants to push out first and then get the 4th.
Yeah. Finally, it's on the way, but it's incredibly late. He needs to accomplish something with these roaches, but I don't know if he can. This army isn't looking very large, but what is scary about it are the disruptors.
Yes, you were mentioning earlier on, sometimes it only takes 1. And on a map like Curious Minds, in fairness, there's a lot of wide open spaces, but it's a little difficult to get creep there to be able to split efficiently with your Roaches and Ravagers. Dark actually going for a Nidus. He does not want to clear up this debris in the middle of the map.
Yeah, we'll see how this works out for him. He's going for everything that he can. So he's working on Nidus, he's working on Burrow and Tunneling Claws. So he wants to make use of these Roaches. These Roaches haven't done anything for him yet. They've just been dead supply this entire game. He needs to try and find some value, and I guess Burrowed Roaches are going to be his way to do it, as well as Nidus.
May as well.
Yeah.
Yo, Nidus into the main?
Yeah, I mean, he's got detection. He's got vision.
And there is enough space there.
It really is, but he has to be careful. He has to respect the Protoss army that's pushing into creep, pushing into his side of the map.
Or does he? Because he's set up for a pretty massive surround. Just about dodges that Purification Nova. I guess that is what's really preventing Dark from collapsing on top of his army, innit?
It really is. He has to be so careful with how the Novas come out. Meanwhile, the Nidus finishes, but there are some gateway units here to help defend. Only a handful of Roaches get out. Oh.
Yeah, but a second Nidus is on the way. Forces a recall. And with that, Dark takes the opportunity to advance.
That he does. He's now pushing out across the map. He's able to catch a couple of units. Maybe can he get an immortal? Looks like he will get one immortal.
Another Nidus being thrown down.
Yeah, the non-stop Nidus aggression. Can he finally get one of these up and running? Meanwhile, the Biles are trying to connect, but they do not. And the Nidus does not finish either.
Whew. Just enough units in position there.
Yeah, this is getting really scary for Dark because Dark is stuck with Roach Ravager. You do not want to be here at this stage of the game. You need Hydras, you need Lurkers, you need a better army against the ground toss.
Or at least a better position, but I'm 100% with you there. Dark needs to get into his hive tech.
You know what? He's going for kind of a pseudo base trade, mate. He is giving up his 4th base, but he's getting the 3rd of Zoun. Meanwhile, he actually kept a lot of his Ravagers here at home. Again, going to try and slow down the army.
Yeah, obviously Zoun does have a recall! Dodges the Purification Nova, so important. And I think there's only one Nova left! Decent split, but it does still connect with quite a lot of Ravagers here.
Man, an insane amount. What, 4 or 5 Ravagers went down to that one shot. The 3rd base is going down. Dark is coming back home, though. He wants to try and get us around.
Yeah, he is setting up the sandwich here. That Warpism is actually still siege up. Okay, will back away, but here comes that surround we were talking about. Good split from the Purification over there. Still a lot of ground for Dark to have to cover. That's a juicy connection, though.
It is incredibly juicy and Dark. He is dropping, his supply is dropping incredibly quickly here. The disruptor shots have just been far too efficient from Zoun. He is pushing on forward, and mate, there's almost nothing to stop him.
All that for just one Colossus kill. Some Biles do land on top of these Stalkers, which is nice, but we're very quickly running out of Ravagers.
Yeah, exactly. We saw how confident Zoun was. GG gets called, and Zoun takes game number 1. Dark started off well with denying that 3rd base, but we saw he was investing so hard into Roaches and he didn't do anything with them. He oh god, feels bad.
It was a little over invested in the Roach Ravager tech. There was a certain point where, since he was being so passive with his Roaches and Ravagers, he had to make a decision of either teching up or being greedy, and he kind of did neither.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. It kind of felt like Dark wanted to like all in his opponent with Roach Ravager, but like that War Prism just kept him at home the entire time. Like the entire time his army was just stuck at home. That's why he had to resort to the Niduses and the Borrowed Roaches. Part of me almost feels like maybe Spire would have been better. Not necessarily to harass, but like just to kill the War Prism.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right there. Just get a handful of Mutalisks to keep that War Prism at bay.
Yeah. And then I mean, I guess you have tactics to deal with the Colossus, and again, maybe you can harass a little bit and turn the tables, keep your opponent at home. It's hard to say.
Really is, but that's enough about glittering Curious Minds, which is of course one of our smallest maps in the current map pool. We are instead doing complete 180 for Glittering Ashes, which is the largest map in the current pool. In the bottom left hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left hand corner, we have our red Protoss player going to be representing Alpha X. He is Zoun.
And spawning in the top right hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player. He is blue, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. Currently down in the series, but not out. It is Dark.
Hope. Alright, a bit of an unnatural base from Dark. Zoun? I'm curious to see if he is going to switch things up in this game, or if he's just going to continue to play very Warpism heavy, which I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, that is the question here. We'll see. I mean, that was a great build specifically for Curious Minds. I think it's a great answer because, again, Skytoss just doesn't really work very well. And Twilight Council openers are much more of a gamble because I feel like if you're up against a player like Dark, I feel like Glaive Adepts aren't really going to cut it. So I do appreciate like how he went there with that build, and his control in the War Prism was great, right? He kept it alive for so long, for the entire game essentially. It more than paid for itself. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna see that again.
Well, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we don't get another Spore Force versus Skytoss game on Glittering Ashes.
It's gonna happen, man. I had one earlier today, actually. I was casting Battle of the Americas with Chase, and yeah, on this map, ZvP.
It was Paco, wasn't it?
No, it was Ryu versus Infanson, a new Protoss player. And you know how Ryu approaches this matchup, you know? Oh god, he is the masochist.
Really is. Well, in general, he's a masochist. I don't think that's just a CvP thing for him. I'll never forget his series against Kellizer. Yeah. Series against Kellizer recently, where he just refused to get upgrades.
Yeah. Oh boy. Aye. Alright, well, we'll see how this series goes, as again, Glittering Ashes makes a little bit more sense to see a Stargate opener. Get ready, Yaku. Get ready, it's happening.
Or is it? No, it's probably gonna happen. So, everybody gather a couple of snacks, get comfy in your chairs, or in your beds, or in your sofas. Could be in for a bit of a log one.
We could be. Like, this is the beginning, right? This is the beginning of potentially the end of our lives, as we do have a Stargate opener. Are we going to see double Stargate behind this?
That long?
It all starts somewhere. As the Void Ray comes out, we'll deal with the initial Overlord. We do have an Oracle behind this. And yeah, Zoun going to be looking to deal some damage and get some scouting information. Oh.
Yeah, but what is it that he's going to see? Very quick Twilight Council coming out as a follow-up here for Zoun. Not even waiting for another Oracle or another Void Ray to come out.
Interesting.
Which I feel we normally see more, right, from a Protoss player.
Yeah. It's interesting for him to do this on Glittering Ashes, though, because I feel like most Protoss players, if they can get away with double Stargate Void Ray, they will do it. And I feel like this is probably the map to try and pull it off on because of how large it is. But as we can see, like, he opted not to go for a second Stargate and instead going for Glaive Adepts.
Alright then. Can still be a very powerful follow-up, but as you mentioned, this is usually more of a follow-up on smaller maps, or even maps like 2000 Atmospheres, which are a little bit more compact. Not necessarily in Glittering Ashes, where these adepts have much more ground to cover. But when they do get across the map, they won't have to worry about roaches, because Dark is heavily invested on Ling Bane.
That's
plus one melee immediately.
Exactly, that's the thing. Dark, he's skipping the Roach Warren. He's going pure Ling Bane. And again, this is great going Ling Bane Queen against double Stargate Void Ray, but he's kind of being, in a way, blind countered. This revelation actually does spot the Baneley Nest, so Zoun is well aware of the Ling Bane, and we'll see what he does with this information. It can still be risky going across the map with a mass amount of adepts, because you could run into Banelings, but if there are no Banelings pre-made, like, they can still trade so well against pure Ling.
Yeah, it's going to be entirely on how well Dark is able to read the shades.
And so
Banelings in position.
So far, this has gone unscattered, but the Spotterlings are going to see all of these adepts coming across the map. Now Dark is fully aware, and immediately he starts Banelings at home.
Does confirm that there are glaives, and now, again, he just needs to follow the shades.
Yeah.
Or at least read them well.
Exactly. Like, now that he has Banelings, Darky's okay. This could have been a lot worse, especially if this wasn't scattered until it stepped foot on creep. But because he did have those scattered lings, now Dark is fully aware, and he should be fine. The adepts, they try and deny what they can.
Is this what? Oh. That still gets a ton of lings. Jeez.
Oh god, and that actually saved the life of all these adepts. Oh, did I speak too soon though? The Lings of Dark there, he's trying to hunt them down.
He's trying to catch the shades. And he does get us around on quite a number of these adepts, actually. Isolating them so well. And a Nidus follow-up from Dark. I am into that.
Interesting. This is a great way for him to utilize his queens offensively. He has so many of them. 8 queens already out here. And because, again, there wasn't a big commitment into the Sky Toss, like, he can just go across the map. We do have a transition into Sky Toss, by the way. Void Rays are on the way. But Dark can hit a pretty strong timing here with his queens.
I'm starting the production tab right now, Light. I'm watching these queens. Load them into the Nidus, Dark. You know you wanna.
Exactly. They're all going to be diving in. The Nidus is on the way outside the base. Banelings are being warped in. We have a recall back home. Zoun realizes what kind of situation he's in, but he only has 2 shield batteries.
He only has 2 shield batteries. The only thing recalled in that was an Oracle, by the way. In fairness, Zoun didn't really have a lot of army supply to begin with, and now it is plummeting even harder. Banelings crash onto Adepts, onto Probes, and now the Queen's in position to deal with the Void Rays.
Exactly, the Void Rays are going to do nothing here. Everything at the third base falls. There are 0 shield batteries. What is there at the natural? A single shield battery, mate. That is all he has. The Queens have nothing to worry about. They can just waddle their way to victory, mate.
Like so. Zoun's doing a pretty good job of kiting, but eventually these Void Rays are going to run out of air to kite too.
Yeah, exactly. We have cannons and shield batteries behind this. Oh, the sentry does get taken out, but again, there's still so many queens. Look at how much energy they have. Again, Dark has no right to lose a single queen right now. As long as he's on point with his transfuses, he's trying to pull the Void Rays back.
Look at his one queen, man. It just won't die. Just keeps getting transfused.
Oh god, that it does. The Baileys, they crash into the Cybercore. +1 will not finish.
And that should be the second final nail in the coffin here. Final nail in the coffin, of course, being all of these queens pushing these Void Rays into a corner. Battery overchargers used up. There are a couple of cannons out now, so yeah, it's a little bit of added DPS. Zealot's actually providing a pretty good buffer.
Yeah, the Zealots are dealing a lot of damage, not gonna lie. The Queens are starting to run out of energy, but now in come a massive wave of reinforcements. GG gets called, and Dark ties up the series 1-1.
I'm disappointed, lad. I snuggled into my chair ready for a 50-minute game, but it was over in 8 minutes. Dark was not having any of that.
Woo! Let's go, as we're now diving into game number 3. Who's going to take a lead in this series? Dark. I love it. Going into the Lingbane originally, and then after realizing what his opponent was up to, how arguably greedy they were being, yeah, just went for the Nidus. Beautiful.
It worked brilliantly. Dark, he wanted to get a Nidus out. If he couldn't get it in Curious Minds, he was going to get it on Glittering Ashes.
Exactly. Meanwhile, a bit of a feels bad, man, as we are loading into game, and we are loading in without one of our boys, without one of our casters.
No.
Less than 3. Again, I'm sure they can restream, but O Gaming were left out of this lobby.
Players are eager, man.
Yeah, the countdown started so quickly. I was like looking, I was like, we're missing someone.
It's like, we're missing Yaku, but that's fine.
That was my first thought.
But speaking of thoughts, here we are on Pride of Altaris, where we have no thoughts, only gold bases. In the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, we of course have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Korea. He is going to be representing Alpha X, a man of... I was going to say a man of many names, but really it's a man of many pronunciations of his name. Personally, I like to call him Zoun.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player. He is blue, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. It is Dark.
Speaking of casters, we actually already have a couple of players qualified.
Oh, I noticed that as well, mate. We have actually 2 qualified.
That we do. Zess has taken out time 3 to 2. in that qualifying match, so he will be moving on to the main event of TSL 8. Bunny versus Dream also ended. I don't believe anyone was casting that, unfortunately, though. That ended in the favor of Bunny, taking out Dream 3-1. So Time and Dream, they're gonna have to come back tomorrow for another shot at qualifying.
Yeah, I'm honestly, you touched on it. I'm very impressed that Time actually took it to the ace match against Zest. Like, that's incredible.
Look, we all know what happened after DreamHack China, don't we? Time was focused on nothing but TVP. So
True.
yeah, it took somebody of the likes of Zest, right? A absolute monster in what is looking to be his final weeks before military to actually take out Time. At least in the TVP matchup.
Oh god. Well, again, hopefully he has better luck next time. Better luck tomorrow, I should say, as qualifier number 2 is tomorrow afternoon. We will be there, of course.
Better luck next time.
I mean, I said it. Yeah, I got
it. Yeah, I get what you're going for.
Awful.
Yeah, I get what you're going for.
Alright, well, we'll see how this series goes. As again, it's a best of 5, so we still have plenty more games to go. We'll just see which one of our players has the momentum going forward.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on which player gets, or you'll keep your eye on which player gets momentum moving forward in this series. I will keep my eye on which player goes for the goal base first.
Exactly, that's what I'm looking at as well, mate. Unfortunately, Dark took his 3 bases and none of them was a gold, so shaking my head for nada Dark here.
Yeah, mate, does he even know what he's doing? Huh?
Oh.
It's like, get the gold base, right?
I know, right?
Yeah,
like, what the hell? God damn it, Dark.
This is why he's only won 2 GSL Code S's versus my 0. God damn.
Regardless, I'm sure the gold base will be taken at some point. Apparently, it is unnecessary here for Dark. He can still take it to his opponent without the goal base. Meanwhile, we do have a Stargate opener coming out from Zoun. Once again, 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I guess you were right that the Disruptor Drop build was very map specific for Zoun. Only wants to pull it out on Curious Minds. On a lot of these other maps, he's going to be playing it out a bit more standard.
Yeah.
See if he does follow this up with a Twilight Council again, though.
Especially because, like, one, like, I have to commend Dark again on the Nidus play, because that's the problem with both Pride of Altaris as well as Glittering Ashes. The rush distance by ground is incredibly long. It's almost impossible to pull off a Queen Walk. So going for a Nidus is a way to solve that issue. So I have to wonder if he's going to do the same thing here, because Pride of Altaris actually has the longest rush distance out of all the new maps.
Yeah, Glittering Ashes may have more area, but its actual rush distance is a little bit shorter.
Meanwhile, the Queens
are wider.
Yeah, and he's already going across the map. Oh my god, this is so ideal here for Dark, because Zoun opened up with double Stargate. He's going for +1, he's going for the Forge, and the Lings are already here across the map as well as the Queens.
Somehow this always works out for Dark.
Oh boy.
In the right place here, a lot of shield batteries are being thrown down by this third base location, but there's only one in the natural base.
That there is. I mean, is this really going to work out? So this build from Dark isn't meant to kill, it's meant to deny the third. That is the goal here, but can he pull it off, because there are still 4 shield batteries?
Yeah, Zoun definitely has the tools that he needs to survive. It's all about how well he utilizes them. He's giving his Void Ray in the back, as he should. The last thing he wants to do is overextend with his units.
Yeah. Meanwhile, looks like Zoun, he's feeling safe and sound. He does cancel his shield batteries in his natural base. We have a Bailing Nest behind this, by the way, which feels like the plan B for Dark. He has not turned up. He has still made nothing but Lings. He's so committed here. He better not turn back. Oh my god, is he coming back home?
Oh my god, he is.
Is he?
No, he's retreating to creep. He's retreating to creep.
Is he?
Is what he's doing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank god.
Yeah,
okay, he's turning back around. He's turning back around. He wants to fake his opponent out. Let's go.
And he actually might be able to. These Void Rays are looking mighty exposed here. If Zoun stays and fights, it is not going to go his way. So thankfully, he does retreat. And that highway is getting closer and closer to Zoun's door.
That it is. The forge finished up. Now we have cannons to help support these shield batteries, but the Banelings are going to be rolling in. The goal these Banelings are to crash with this stack defense.
Yeah, best case scenario, he's able to depower everything by crashing onto the pylons, but getting onto the rest of the structures is acceptable as well. Battery overcharge finally being popped. Zoun was so patient, waiting until the last second when he really needed to utilize it, and it's paying off for him. Dark's army is getting so thinned out. Sure, 8 probes went down, but the third base is still standing strong.
Exactly. The Lings are not getting the surface area that they needed. So much lost DPS on those Lings. Every single queen is going to go down, and with this defense mate, Zoun, he just shuts it all down.
What a rhyme.
Oh god, Dark. I was talking about it at the start of the game. I was like, mate, it's the longest rush in this map. This is it. This is where you don't queen walk. And Dark's like, mate, what? Hold my beer, let me queen walk. And then it's like, oh.
You can't tell me what to do.
Oh god. Again, this was scattered so early on. Zoun already had 4 shield batteries by the time the queens got across the map. He was safe, he was sound, and now Dark is in a really rough place.
Yeah, thankfully he still has a lot of queens. He hasn't been neglecting the queen production, so he can have some defenses up against the Void Rays of Zoun. He is really hurting for workers though, which is why he grabs the gold.
Exactly. This is the upside of Pride of Altares, is that there is a way to come back into this game, right? The gold base. If Dark can get the gold base up and running, then he can make up for all the lost economy and the drone count that he has. That is like the caveat to this. If it wasn't for this, mate, I think he would have tapped out.
Yeah, that's why it's a little bit more forgiving in it.
Yeah, it is.
Failing a queen march on this map.
We shall see. Meanwhile, Zoun, he's rotating around with his Void Rays. We're going to try and hit the 4th base. Has he scouted the gold? He so far has not scouted the gold.
Now he's got the gold.
Yeah, now he sees all the creep, and now he's well aware.
That's going to be priority number 1 right now for Zoun, to try to shut that down and, again, just try to make sure that Dark is unable to equalize when it comes to the income. He's already caught up when it comes to the workers. Hasn't quite been able to mine yet, though.
Yeah, so this is where he's caught up, but that's not a great thing in this matchup to be equal. At least he has the gold, and that will help him out a little bit. As we can see, the graph is still deep in the Zoun at the moment when it comes to the economy. Dark just now finished up his lair, and now he can start taking up in some direction, whether it's a Spire or a Hydra Den.
Yeah, behind all of that, though, yeah, speaking of tech, Zoun has finished up his Temple Archives. He's already getting Archons in. Massive gateway explosion. Now all he needs to do is warp in units and march across the map, essentially.
Yeah, Zoun has an option right now. He can either slowly expand and slow things down like Zest and wall up, or he can try and go for a kill move because he knows the tech advantage that he has. And it looks like kill move is the plan here for Zoun.
Which I personally think is the better option of the two, right? Why give Dark an opportunity to potentially come back in this game when he can just get rid of the problem now, when he can start putting him out of his misery now? Ooh, decent split here from Dark, but I still think a lot of roaches went down there. Not too sure exactly. Zealots are starting to get on top of his army. Archons are getting a couple of their volleys off, but a really good concave from Dark.
Yeah, exactly. Like, honestly, Dark is fighting incredibly well here, as best as he can. He just has to buy a little bit more time, but oh my god, the Zealots are breaking through. The massive disruption shot goes off on the Queens.
Takes more than one purification over to take out Queens, which is why it was so important that Zoun was bruising them with his Zealots earlier on.
Yeah, exactly. And with this, Zoun does it. He has broken through. GG gets called, and Zoun takes a lead in this series.
Only needs un momento, por favor, to qualify for TSL 8. But if we're following the pattern of Zoun versus Dark throughout 2021, I doubt it's gonna. I doubt we're not gonna get our ace match.
Oh yeah. Exactly, mate. Exactly. That was a that was a brutal game. Like, oh my god, it was like, Dark, you just showed off how well you can utilize the Nidus on Glittering Ashes, and then on Pride of Altaris he ignores it completely. Like, oh god, he just goes for the walk. Showing us why it may not be the best move on that map specifically.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Meanwhile, massive shout out to Chicken Man. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you enjoyed your broadcasts. Again, Chicken Man, he was the one covering Ryung versus Nightmare into Rogue versus Nightmare and eventually into Solar versus Rogue. So if you want to tune into those series, check out the VODs on his Twitch channel, and I imagine at some point on his YouTube channel as well. Meanwhile, if you're tuning in from his stream, we are here in a different qualifying match in Zoun versus Dark.
Yeah, we're the last ones remaining. But yeah, massive shout out to Chicken Man. It is getting pretty late there over in the land of NA. Just glad that he kind of stayed up and we were able to spread out a lot of these casts. I think he was the only one covering Rogue versus Solar.
Yeah, he was.
There we go. But now we are going to be continuing our qualifying match here on Hardwire LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He only needs un momento, por favor. And he doesn't have to worry at all about coming back for qualifiers and whatnot. He will be nice and secure in TSL 8. Will he do it? Let's find out. Representing Alpha X, he is Zoun.
And spawning in the top right hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player currently down in this series. Has to take this game or he is out of this entire qualifier. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. It is Dark.
One map away from elimination. I'm going to come back tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We have seen some brilliance from Dark this series, but also maybe a little bit of stubbornness, or I don't know if I would say that, maybe overconfidence, and that's just the Dark we know and love. Like,
pretty much.
That's just part of his persona, really. In like
it
IRL and
in-game. Yeah, it wouldn't be Dark if he didn't if he respected his opponents. It would be Dark.
Exactly. He's not on the level of, say, like, Parting, you know, he's not necessarily like that, but again, like, he is confident in his play, and he loves to flaunt that whenever he can. Meanwhile, again, going for a very fast third hatchery here, was being delayed a little bit, but yeah, much more economic focus than we have seen in the past.
Yeah, may as well in Hardwire, I suppose. So another map, which is... I don't know, I feel like if we're looking at these three new maps in particular, at least when it comes to the quote-unquote larger ones, you got Pride of Altaris, which is long, but not wide. You got Glittering Ashes, which is very wide, but not necessarily long. Hardwire, it's kind of a square.
It is. You could argue maybe it's a little bit of a long square, maybe. But like it's one of those like illusions because again it's not on the level of Pride of Altaris by any means.
It really isn't. I just looked at chat by the way.
Oh god, why is Yaku in the hospital? There's a story behind that. It's not a hospital.
I'm always in the hospital, mate. What are you on about?
Yeah, as Garbahem is saying in the chat, yes, Yaku does own a hospital bed. This is true.
I use a hospital bed every night. And yeah, it was cheap. I got it for free. I inherited it
mate.
From a relative.
One day he had to go to the hospital, then he just left with it, mate. It's like people who steal like shopping trolleys, you know? They just oh god.
No, see, actually, I took it bit by bit. I slowly dismantled it every time I went in.
There you go, mate. There you go.
I snuck out with a piece each time. They never noticed, by the way, that a hospital bed was like missing frames and wheels and stuff.
Yeah.
And a mattress.
That's Singapore for you.
Yeah.
Oh god, it does have a story. It does have a story. Maybe a story for another time, as we are still getting into the series. And yo, Dark once again goes for an early Evo chamber.
Love to see this each and every time. Will we get another Nidus to complement this? We'll see. Regardless, Dark wants to be aggressive very, very early on. Just waiting for that Baneling Nest to complement this.
Yeah, exactly. The goal of this is, again, you have a massive wave of lanes. You can deny the third base for as long as possible, and behind this, your choice of anti-air are nothing but queens.
Yeah, and it's a really effective anti-air at that, to be fair. But only defensively for now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, even though Zoun didn't get many drone kills with this Oracle, he actually did a very good job at clearing up a lot of this creep, really kind of delaying any kind of queen push, if that is what Dark wanted to go for. Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of... You gotta be at least a little paranoid of your Zoun, right? You gotta be thinking, well, it could be a queen march, we are in Hardwire, but it could also be a Nidus, so regardless, he just wants to make sure that his Oracles have eyes on just about every vulnerability here.
Definitely. Meanwhile, fourth base is on the way at a very reasonable time here for Dark. Nicely done. Unfortunately, the queens were just not in position, so the base does take a lot of damage, but it's only a single Void Raise, so we should not see a cancel on this fort.
Yeah, worst comes to worst, Dark should be able to transfuse that hatchery when it finishes.
I should. Meanwhile, oh my god, that is a lot of Banelings here. Very interesting. Instead of going for a Ling run by, he's going for a Baneling waddle by at the third base.
I mean, may as well, right?
Yeah, plus one melee is about to finish up.
Try to distract the army potentially, and yeah, as you say, plus one melee is about to finish up. But these Banelings still need to connect. They get the pylon and the shield battery, which is actually massive. This third base, oh no, it really doesn't have any defenses out. Look at how quickly the Lings chew through Nexus with +1.
Exactly. This is the goal of the +1 opening, mate. With the Banelings, it is to get a kill on this third base. Behind this, Dark is droning up very happily.
He really is. He's more than fine with losing a couple of Lings here, because really, what are they going to do as the game continues on? Zoun is focused a lot more on his air army. So yeah, the defensive unit right now for Dark is really going to be Queens. So you're going to do your army, Fleet Beacon.
Exactly. You know, Zoun is going into that Sky Toss. Typically, this +1 Evo Chamber opening is ideal against double Stargate Void Rays, which is what Zoun was going for. So everything really did work out well here for Dark. These Void Rays can't really do anything across the map because, again, there are just so many Queens to defend. We have Spores as well. The creep is looking solid. So Zoun is just forced to stay back and, again, just try as best he can to get that third base up and running again.
And she should have a lot more success this time. Shield batteries are already in position. The Void Rays are going to have Flux Veins eventually. So yeah, it really won't take much for Zoun to get his units in position.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting to me is that he's still taking up in a lot of different directions. There are some players who, once they go Fleet Beacon, they throw down a third, maybe even a fourth Stargate, but no, he's still complementing this with a ground army. It looks like he still wants to go into, say, Disruptors or Colossus to help support his Sky Toss.
Yeah, you need something to, you know, at least, you need something to at least distract the Queens on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. As the Void Rays try to dip in, but again, Queens were already here. The lair, the soon-to-be hive is protected. We have Infestors on the way for Fungals. Lings are just flooding across the map once again. This time, maybe not to take out the third, but maybe to try and deny this fourth.
Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. I think Dark does have eyes on that. I just realized, by the way, that Dark is playing out a little bit of a Safano style, where he's just being as active as possible with his run-bys, trying to cancel bases wherever he can. But I think a pretty key difference here is that Dark is still very forward with his Queens.
Yeah, he's being very aggressive with them. Again, like, he's not going for Spire, he's not going for Hydroden, he is going for that Hive, so it looks like he should still be going for Vipers, which will help so much. Maybe, from here, he can actually go into Ultras, to be fair. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Dark unfortunately did not transfuse that base at all after he initially defended. So it will go down. He is getting a bit of a backup, but this will put him on even base counts with Zoun.
Yeah, that is real. Meanwhile, we have a massive run by of Banelings. Unfortunately, they were caught out by these Void Rays. Can they break through? Oh, the Force Field is here just in time.
And a Purification Nova will just clean that up. So many Banelings, though. They will crash onto the middle line of this 4th base, on this 3rd base as well. 28 probes have gone down. Dark has over double the worker count. And that is one hell of a way to get back in this game after one of your bases gets taken out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's one of the advantages of this kind of style from our Zerg player is that they have so much excess gas because they're not making mutas, they're not making hydras or anything like that, so they all get spent on Banelings instead. And we saw Banelings just all over the place, just encroaching upon Zoun from every single direction. And even though Zoun had some decent reactions with pulling the boys, with his disruptors, with his force fields, it just wasn't enough. Despite all of that, he still lost so many probes.
Yeah, there's just so many Banelings, man.
Yeah, and mate, the Ling run-bys, they just don't stop coming.
Make sure batteries in position here so these probes are a little bit more vulnerable. The cannon at least will provide a little bit of DPS, and the Void Rays do move back to defend. Zoun doesn't lose any more workers, but he's still got a ton of catching up to do.
Oh god, that he does. And unfortunately, because his economy has been crippled so much, he can't afford to go into something like carriers, right? Into that late game Skytoss army that he wants. He just doesn't have the gas for it. He's still stuck with this kind of mediocre mid-game army. Meanwhile, Dark, there we go. We were talking about it earlier. Ultra Cavern is thrown down.
The signature unit of Dark, really. And yeah, I was getting a little bit worried for Dark because he didn't throw down a Spire. He really doesn't have much when it comes to anti-air. He's got Queens, but again, they're very defensive. Then I noticed that Zoun wasn't producing any more Void Rays or any carriers or anything, so yeah, he's more than fine. Dark can definitely get away with Roach? Ling Bane Ultra. There we go.
Definitely. Meanwhile, he has forced Zoun's hands down. He's trying to push into creep. We have a we have a disrupt shot going off, and it does connect with the Banelings.
Yeah, very nicely done, but Dark will be able to split when it comes to the rest of the Purification Novas.
Oh, that he will. Dark does defend for now. Again, this is the goal of this style. Stefano does this quite often as well, right? Where you have Queens and Infestors to defend, and that is it. You just keep doing these Ling Bane run-bys over and over and over again, but Zoun has had enough.
Yeah, eventually you're really going to be able to starve out your opponent. As the Zerg player, Purification Nova is unfortunately not quite landing. Prismatic Alignment doing a number on these Ultras.
Yeah, unfortunately, these Ultras do not have Kindness Plating. Without it, they're honestly pretty squishy, so one of them already getting evaporated, but Zoun, he's not feeling confident enough to push deeper into creep. He's just giving Dark more time.
Yeah, I can't really blame him there. There are so many Queens with so much energy on them.
Gotta.
Tough pushing in that regardless. Banelings do connect once again. 9 more probes go down. Ultralisk get right on top of the disruptors. There is no more disruptors left here for Zoun. Plenty of Archons though, and still a lot of Void Rays.
Yeah, exactly. There's just no buffer here. Unfortunately, because of the lack of creep spread, Dark can't necessarily push on forward and chase these Void Rays. Again, the Queens are having a hard time keeping up. The Queens are actually getting a little bit exposed here, but the Ultras are not too far away. At the same time, we do have a bit of a Zealot run by, but it is cleaned up. And again, Zoun is so all in here.
It really is. 17 more probes went down throughout all of this.
Like,
my first instinct whenever I see this much probe losses is, well, Chrono Boost is pretty good, right? There is a limit to how much Chrono Boost can achieve, especially when you're on 4 bases this long as a Protoss player.
Exactly. Like, Zoun needs another base. He needs some breathing room, but he's just been struggling so much to keep all of his bases safe and sound. He just doesn't have an economy to sustain the losses that he has been sustaining. He's trying, though. Interesting choice. He's actually going for a second Robo. I guess
any
more
sort of carrier production.
Yeah, he's got one carrier on the way. Sure.
Well, you don't just make one carrier, right? Hopefully, anyway, he's not gonna just make one carrier.
Hopefully, mate. Hopefully. Oh god. Meanwhile, on the side of Dark, what's been happening here? He's just been waiting for his upgrades to finish up. Finally, he has kindness plating. He's getting some Vipers. I would love a Spire. A Spire would be nice in case we do have more carriers coming out, right?
Just in case, yeah, but as we see, Dark just is not going that way.
Exactly, he just keeps going for the Ling Runwise. Meanwhile, shout out to Dark, he's listening to the stream. There it is, Spire does start here for Dark. It's on the way.
Actually curious as to what Corpus can really do in this position. I guess they can Caustic Spray.
I mean,
there's so many Archons though.
Even there, Broodlords are superior to Ultras. Like,
true, yeah. I was looking at the Archons and I thought, well, these Archons can do well against just about anything, right? But Broodlords can outproduce Archons.
Exactly. Like, this is probably the biggest problem with Dark's composition, is that he just has so many Ultras. He invested a lot of resources into these Ultras instead of taking up and going into a Spire and later a Greater Spire.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see the day where I'd be disappointed in Dark making Ultras.
Yeah, like, he's not really achieving much with them, and as all these Ultras get picked off, like, they're getting a little bit of damage, but these are expensive run-bys. Like, this is like expensive aggression.
Yeah, because of that, Dark just hasn't really been able to get as much of a bank as he would like to. He's still building up that bank. It's about to be maxed out pretty soon, but as we say, he just keeps losing Ultras left and right. It costs a lot to replace them.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared for Dark now, not gonna lie. I mean, he's still okay, you know, he's got Queens and Infestors and Vipers. I was just saying there's a lot of Archons here. It's all gonna be about the engagement. Oh, he does catch 3 Archons.
Yeah, not a bad Fungal, and some better Fungals behind that, but the Purification Novas are finding damage.
Oh my god, Dark, not like this, buddy. You were doing so well this game. You were doing so well. Oh god, he just made too many Ultras. Is this gonna work? Maybe he can try and surround the army.
Try, I think, being the operative word. Really good blinding clout though.
Beautiful.
On a lot of these Archons.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the disruptor shots are connecting, but the Ultras are actually proving their worth. They are breaking through. They're getting on top of everything, and Dark, ooh, there's no reason to doubt Dark. He knew exactly what he was doing. Maybe.
Yeah, I said it once, I'll say it again. I stopped questioning Dark a long time ago. Somehow things just keep working out for him.
Yeah, like, this fight was closer than it needed to be. Okay?
It was.
God damn it, Dark. In the end, the Ultras, they did pay. He's making 8 more Ultras. He's just, why not? At this stage, why not, right? But still, like, my god.
Yeah, I mean, it's Dark we're talking about.
Yeah.
He loves him some Ultras.
He really does. He really does. You could argue maybe Zoun got over-eager, pushing incredibly deep into creep, instead of trying to go for one of the fringe bases. He is dealing some counter damage, but maybe the Ultras are breaking on through. Look at that soup. It is not lying, as the Ultras are paying for themselves. Like, mate, we are not a meme.
We're a serious unit in a serious composition. Yeah, I was definitely impressed with Zoun and how well he was able to claw his way back after taking so many losses earlier on. Both players were maxed out, but Dark was maxed out much longer. He got a much bigger bank, and Zoun has spent his entire bank. He's not even remaxed.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the shot's coming out, but it's not going to be enough here. Dark, he has done it. Not qualified, but he has stopped himself from being eliminated. He is going to that ace match, mate.
Yeah, he's got a chance to qualify now. GG with
Yeah.
Sideways 2-2.
GG, well played. Dark with that massive just run by style. Lings, Banes, Ultras, just defending with Queens as best he can, you know, with the help of those Infestors and Vipers. And as we saw, the Infestors and Vipers were crucial there to hold against that massive counterattack from Zoun.
Yeah, we were questioning the Ultras, but they somehow were able to help in the defense there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was a really good surround.
It was.
Fair.
It was a great surround. It was a great engagement. I still do question those Ultras, by the way, but I mean, they worked in the end, so it's like,
Look,
okay, it's fine. It's just,
look,
I mean,
you wouldn't be questioning those Ultras if they weren't using the Brute War skin. Let's be real.
I was just about to say that, like, let's be real. I think we've all seen, including the people in the chat, we've all seen like a Zerg player throw away a big like economic lead by making a bunch of ultras and then losing said ultras.
Yep.
It's happened before. It's going to happen again, but it didn't happen here against Dark or for Dark.
It did not. Somehow his ultras are just built different.
They're just built a little bit different, mate. A little bit different.
Every time he makes an ultra, somehow they live a little longer. They deal a little bit more damage. It's insane.
Exactly. Also, I love how in the chat you sparked a discussion about hospital beds.
Yeah.
It's like a big back and forth about, whether they're good or not, or is it better to just sleep on the floor, or can you like adjust it? Is it ergonomic? It's a lot going on.
If we reach a sub goal, I'll start a hospital bed review series.
Ooh.
And when I run out of hospital beds to review, I'll do prison bed reviews. That might be a little bit difficult. There are no prison beds in this country.
There you go, mate. Mate, all you gotta do is...
You got a mat on the floor if you go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I know that.
Is that better or not than a hospital bed is the question.
Well, it's good for your back, I think.
Yeah, good for your posture.
If you sleep on your back.
Oh, true.
You sleep on your side, then it's not going to be of much use.
Man, what kind of animal sleeps on their side?
It's actually the most common sleeping position.
What? Really?
Yeah. It's the most common sleeping position, apparently.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Common sleeping position. Look this up. Do we have stats? Do we have a graph? That's what I want to see.
Stats is in the military.
He is in the military.
So he's probably sleeping on his side.
Most popular sleeping position, fetus.
Yeah, that's on your side.
Nah, that's curled up like a ball, mate.
Yeah, on your side.
That's not quite.
You're not gonna curl up on your stomach.
No, they're curled up on their stomach. Yeah.
No, you're not gonna curl up and then sleep on your stomach. I guess technically you'd be sleeping on your knees in that position if you do it that way.
True.
Alrighty then, we are finally going to be concluding not just this qualifying map, but the entire qualifying tournament here, as this is literally the only map remaining. Everybody else has qualified. Or everybody else who was going to qualify has qualified. Yeah. And what better map to end it on than 2,000 atmospheres. LE, we're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Korea. He is going to be representing Alpha X. We have Zoun.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player. He is blue, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. DPG, it is Dark.
What I tell you, Light. Every time Zoun and Dark go up against each other, for some reason, it goes all the way to the ace.
Yeah.
Dark could have the best ZvP in the world. He could have just 3-0'd the likes of Parting or Zess. If he goes up against Zoun, somehow Zoun will take it all the way to the ace match.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, Pride of Altaris, man. Questionable moves going down, but yeah, you're right. We are here in the ace match. This is going to be the final game of the night. Who is going to take it? How will this series go? We are on 2,000 atmospheres. Will we get to that split map scenario?
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're guaranteed at least one in a PvZ.
And
we didn't get it on Heartwire, so...
Yeah, and
we didn't get it on Glittering Ashes.
Exactly, we just haven't gotten it yet, so we gotta get it somewhere. And speaking of getting it somewhere, massive shout out, bienvenidos to Romsley in the chat. Oh my god, welcome Romsley, hope you're having a good day. And yes, if you're in the chat and if you want some free beer, ! Funada Romsley, and you will get it.
Yeah, Buenos Morgan, Romsley.
Ay. Massive shout out to Romsey. For those wondering who the hell Romsey is, he is a Spanish caster. He is one of the best casters in all of the Spanish language, mate. He's amazing. He's beautiful. He casts GSL in his underwear. It's great.
He does. I don't know why I laughed at that. I've seen that.
Oh, God. It's the best part of GSL in Spanish,
Yeah.
man.
Is Romsey and Enki still a thing? I remember that being the...
They have been a casting duo in the past, but I don't think they are anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I think Enki has taken a bit of a step back.
Well, the beer comment is because Romsey took a bit of a step back, and he actually started his own beer company. It's good stuff.
What kind of beer?
That's a good question. We need answers, Romsey. We need answers. But I hope all is well there in the land of the Roms. Meanwhile, so far, yo, even Dastan showing up. Oh my god. Latin America, they're all waking up.
Yeah, they're here for the beer.
They are, mate. They heard. Oh god. Soon Chaos Fade is going to show up.
There we go. You're going to pull a Chaos Fade and just completely wasted before.
Yeah, just break your table.
Playing another qualifier.
Yeah. Did you hear about that? I know, like I've spoken a lot about it with Darking, but I don't know if I told you. Where that day, it was the day of the DreamHack closed qualifiers. The night before, he got drunk, and he smashed his hand through a glass table, and
that rings a bell, but I don't remember. I remember Chaos Fate missed the qualifier because he was getting wasted because he was hungover the next morning.
This was one where
I did not hear about the table.
He didn't miss it, but he played it, but he underperformed hard because he wasn't just hungover, he had also injured his hand as well. Like, mate. Oh god, but enough about the Latin American StarCraft scene. Here we are in Korea, and so far we have had some pretty interesting openers. Zoun did go for his trademark Stargate, but it is going into a Twilight Council.
It's going into a Twilight Council, but eventually back into Stargate, as +1 is being researched for fly weapons. Forge has been thrown down, but we'll see if he actually gets an upgrade for that Forge, or he's just going to use it for cannons. Dark, meanwhile, still committed to the +1 melee.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up, but then Romsey showed up, so I got distracted. But once again, it seems like this is Dark's go-to. He has done this time and time and time again throughout the series, going for the Evo Chamber, going for +1 melee.
Well, he's recognized that, or he's recognized how successful it can be, especially when he gets to the Ultra stage, so yeah, may as well. And honestly, I feel like this will work out even better on 2,000 atmospheres than on Heartwire.
Yeah,
just because of how much shorter the rush distance is.
Yeah, it's also much more open here as well. There are plenty of angles for attacks, so we'll see what these Lings can get done. +1 melee is about to finish up. Baneling Nest is done as well, so we should see a massive warping of Banelings. Meanwhile, the Lings actually pulled the trigger, but the Void Rays are already in position to deny them.
Macro Hatch is on the way for Dark, so he's looking to be even more aggressive this game than he was on Heartwire.
Oh yeah, that he is. He's going to have plenty of lava for all of those Lings. Meanwhile, we actually have Chargelot Archon on the way for Zoun. I do think this is a great response against Ling Bane. We'll see how Dark adapts. We'll see if he will adapt.
Yeah, if he even needs to adapt here. And so far, he's still finding some openings. Not quite getting probe damage yet, but weakening up this base for when the Banelings come in eventually.
Yeah, I'm really scared for Dark, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he has a Roach Worm, but he doesn't have any Roaches whatsoever. He needs Roaches sooner rather than later, because the War Prism just finished up. 7 gates are about to finish up. Zoun is about to push out across the map with Chargelot Archon, and if there's only Ling Bane to defend, Dark is gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, Ling Bane is just about what you want against the Chargelots. What about the Archons?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Especially in the hands of someone like Zoun, you know, like I expect him to have the micro, the control to be able to pull back and trade efficiently against Ling Bane. We'll see, as thankfully 12 Roaches are on the way, so Dark should be okay. He should have the tools that he needs to fend this attack.
Yeah, we'll see. He's already getting set up. Doesn't have too many Archons, in fairness. This is actually honestly a bit of a smaller army than I expected for Zoun.
Yeah, I mean, he's pushing on forward. We do see the spores repositioning. We have plenty of queens. We have roaches. We have banelings. Again, like, Dark just has everything he needs. I feel like Zoun sees this, and I don't know if pushing in is really the best choice for him.
Yeah, he pushes in, he immediately dips away.
Yeah, exactly.
Starts just running for their lives. A couple of banelings do get decent connections, but for the most part, they get sniped by the Archons. Speaking of the Archons, they're getting chased down. Galari Constitution finished up a little while ago. These roaches are faster than Archons.
That they are. Dark defends beautifully. At the same time, Zoun is trying to slip into the main base with this War Prism. Maybe he can deal some damage. Yo, Dark, he notices, he pulls his queens back, and Zoun is forced to transition, and he throws down the Flea Beacon.
Which he should be able to get away with, in all honesty. He did force Dark to make a lot of roaches. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to go for run-bys. Zoun is in complete control of the map.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Zoun is also well aware of the threat of all these roaches, so he prioritizes his disruptors first. He's getting out as many disruptors as possible, so if there is a roach counterattack, he will have them to be able to hold on to its fourth base.
If there's a roach counterattack, because for now, Zoun is just kind of having his way with Dark's army.
Yeah.
Forcing them to stay at home for so long.
Exactly. Dark is playing to the dance to the tune of Zoun, because again, this War Prism has done so much to keep Dark at home and to give Zoun the breathing room he needs to get another expansion, to throw down the tech, the production as well. 2 more Stargates are thrown down for the carrier production. Dark is giving his opponent a lot of room.
And in that room, Zoun gets 12 gateways. Jeez.
Jesus Christ. Here we go. Dark has had enough. He is now maxed out. He's finally going to put his Roach Ravager to use. Is it too late, though? That's the question. How many disruptors do we have? We only have 3. Oh, they're all here.
Block.
Yeah, they're all stuck at the natural, actually.
Oh, no. Okay, but Dark doesn't actually go for it yet.
Yeah, he pulls back for a moment. Again, like, this War Prism is keeping so much supply tied up here at home.
It really is. At any point, if Zoun sees an opening, he can just siege up and utilize those 12 gateways he's got to decimate the economy of Dark. Meanwhile, Dark is finally pushing on in.
Exactly, it's all about the disruptor shots, the purification overs. Are they gonna go off? They do connect with a handful of Ravagers. Ooh, that's another juicy shot on the roaches.
And Dark is forced to pull away. He gets 8 probes for his troubles, but really needs a lot more than that. I will say, though, that at least cleared up a lot of supply for Dark. He wants to get rid of his roaches at this point because an Ultra Den is on the way, because he wants to get Infestives out. A bit of a better way to round off his army than just pure Roach Ravager Ling Bane.
Yeah, definitely has. Another Nova goes off. Jesus Christ. Zoun trading so well here. But as you were saying, losing roaches at the moment isn't the biggest of deals, because Dark wants to trade it out for Infestors and eventually Ultras. He just has to be careful not to lose too much too quickly here, as Zoun is still posturing here in the middle of the map. But oh, 2 Immortals get caught out.
And that's one of the key units you want against Ultras in particular.
Exactly. Immortals were what Zoun was missing in the previous game, and now he has lost 2 of them. Meanwhile, we have a massive Zealot run by Zealot drop here in the main base. It is all going to be cleaned up.
Nest.
He does not get the nest.
Massive fumble on top of the Void Rays, but they are able to barely dodge the Biles. Decent Purification Nova. And a really good split as well on the Chargelets. 1 Archon will finally fall to the Banelings.
Oh, that they will. We have a massive fungal as well. We do have a couple of Biles, and they will connect with the Void Rays. Oh my god.
And the Carriers! They are sort of get so low on health. There's another fungal, by the way. Thankfully for Zoun, Corrosive Bile is on cooldown, but the Queens get in position, and they clean house. We're at 115 supply versus 30 army supply.
Zoun, aye, buddy, you just got your 4th base up and running. Pushing out and being that committed was not necessary whatsoever. And just like that, he was caught in the web of Dark. He was caught in all those fungals. He was trying to pull away. He realized this is the mistake that he had made, but it was a little bit too late. And after losing that army, that was far too much damage. He lost 2 carriers. He lost all of his Archons. Now Dark, he immediately remaxes.
Look at a gas bank for Zoun, yeah. Dark remaxes once again. He's just setting up for another run by. These Roaches and Ravagers will get cleared up towards the north, but again, he's more than fine with that. Towards the south.
Now we have another massive Ling Bane run by being set up here to hit the third base. Unfortunately, again, Zoun, he just lost so much supply. He's trying to rebuild, but again, like earlier he was working on his carriers. Now he only has one, and now once again he's stuck with Chargelet Archon.
And he's going to be stuck with just Chargelet very, very soon.
Exactly.
Cement hugs.
Yeah, like what do you like Zealots against Ultras? You never want to see that. Ay. The Banelings, they roll on in. Another mineral line goes down, and now Dark, he is slowly waddling his queens across the map to just end it, mate.
Yeah, the Ultralists are surprisingly starting to fall, but so are the Archons, so are the Disruptors, so are the Immortals, so is this Nexus. So are the Carriers, so are the Interceptors, so are the Assimilators, so are the Gateways.
Yeah.
Everything's falling down for Zoun.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say.
Zoun, honestly, I feel like he was doing fine up until that big engagement we had here at the fourth base of Dark. Like, this is just where everything went south for Zoun. He was forced to commit into a fight that he really didn't want to be a part of, and Dark just snowballed from there.
Absolutely. Those Fungals were the real MVP of this game.
They really were. They really were. And now there's just Zerg all over the place. No, the Immortals, once again, they're getting surrounded.
And it will be able to at least stem the tide temporarily, but it also means that a lot of the reinforcements won't be in position for Zoun. Carriers are still in the air, but the Disruptors get taken out. The Archons are gone. Nothing shoots up, which is the one saving grace for Zoun, but he's literally only got one Void Ray and one Carrier when it comes to air units.
It's a weird scenario where nothing shoots up, but nothing really needs to shoot up because there's nothing in the air. Like
nothing shoots up, but there's nothing to shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Like one Carrier, one Void Ray. Okay.
GG is called, and Dark takes that series 3-2. Oh, never a dull moment in that series.
Exactly. GG, well played. Congratulations to our Korean Zerg player. Dark is our final player to qualify tonight for TSL 8.
Yeah, very much congratulations to Dark here. He is the winner of TSL 7, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Or is it TSL 6? No, I think he won TSL 6. I don't remember who won TSL 7, actually. Think about it.
TSL 7 was Trap.
There we go. It's barely able to catch much of that, unfortunately. But yeah, GG, congratulations to Dark. Qualifying once again for TeamLiquid StarLeague. Zoun had a really good showing, honestly, but I mean, it is Dark we're talking about. A bit of a different beast than who he had to face earlier on.
I think what's really important to point out as well is that, especially looking at this series, we talk about this all the time, especially in Dark ZvT, but even here in ZvP, he just has his own style, you know? Like, there are plenty of players out there who go for Queen Walks or go for, you know, fast into Hive, into Spire, Corruptors, Vipers. They try to go toe-to-toe with the Sky Toss. But Dark just goes for non-stop run-bys, non-stop aggression if he's allowed to, and even techs up into Ultras. Just for run-bys.
The one time he went for a Queen Walk, it blew up in his face.
Yeah, it really did.
I guess this is why... Yeah, I guess this is why people say Dark is not necessarily a Zerg player, because he... You want to be playing a bit more reactive, right, as Zerg, but Dark is the complete opposite. He wants to dictate the pace of the game right at the start. He wants to be the player who's active on the map and, again, dictating the tempo of how things are going to go.
Yeah, like he's a very unique player in that respect, and there are very few others that kind of emulate that. Sometimes they do, like in a couple of games here and there in a best of, but like again, as we saw, Dark was very committed to that. You know, Rogue, Solar, and all the other Korean Zerg players, they didn't play like this. They don't. Maybe they should. You know, maybe Solar should take a look at this series, because Solar has been struggling a lot against Protoss. But yeah, Dark just has his own style.
Words. Well, then again, Dark has his own style, and it worked out for him in the end. But there were also many points where you could argue he made it closer than it should have been.
It's also another thing where, like, I do think that because he very commonly went for a very similar composition, I do think that other Protoss players can look at this and adapt themselves to it.
Look at John.
Yeah, like, we saw that, again, we just didn't really have a very big commitment into Skytoss from Zoun. Like, he made an initial couple of Void Rays into carriers, but again, he very much so stopped and then went back into like a ground-based composition, right? Whereas I do feel like your more traditional Protoss players who embrace Skytoss a little bit more, like your Zest, I think would have a little bit more success. It's hard to say. Because at the same time, Skytoss armies are also relatively immobile, and it is a very like harassment-heavy style from Dark.
It really is. That's why it works out so well on the some of the more wider maps, I suppose.
Yeah.
As we saw.
Oof. Exactly.
But with that, I think we're going to be congratulating not just Dark, but also Solar, Zest, and Bunny, who are your 4 players already qualified for TSL 8. Well, I say already qualified. The 4 players from this particular qualifier qualified for TSL 8. We've already had one of the NA qualifiers. We've already had, I think, all the EU qualifiers. So the actual bracket is starting to shape up a little.
It really is. If you're out there, and I see there's a couple of Protoss fans in the chat who are maybe a little bit upset. Again, if you're a Protoss fan, there are plenty more Protoss players where that came from. Zest qualified today. Zest, arguably the best Protoss player in the world. When it comes to the other Protoss player in contention, Trap. As we cleared up, Trap was the TSL 7 winner. He was the champion of TeamLiquid StarLeague number 7. So because of that, he's invited straight into the tournament for TSL 8.
Seeded.
There you go. So plenty of good Protoss players. Of course, we've got all of our typical Zerg players as well. You know, your Dark, your Solar. We're missing Rogue. Rogue is the one that it's a little bit of Solar may turn the tables on Rogue. Very nicely done, Solar.
Yeah, been kind of sleeping on him a little bit, I guess, or I've been sleeping on Solar a little, but I mean, that's always the story with Solar, right? He has flashes of brilliance, but he's never quite as consistent as Dark and Rogue.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Solar, his best matchup is ZvZ, so I think he got relatively lucky when it came to the qualifying match for him. I do think he would have had a harder time against some of the other players. But yeah, Solar made it through, and as you said, tomorrow we have another Korean qualifier, so there will be another chance for players like Rogue, like Zoun, like Ragnarok to be able to make it through and qualify.
That will, and we're going to be there in about 21 hours.
That we will. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Massive shout out to Chicken Man for the massive raid. Again, I hope he is resting well because he'll be waking up to cast ESL Open Cup Americas. We usually also cast that, but I do think we're going to be taking a bit of a break tomorrow just because we have been non-stop casting 2 tournaments in a row every single day. Even today, earlier, we were casting Battle of the Americas. So yeah, we're going to be taking a bit of a break from ESL Americas tomorrow morning.
But of course, stay tuned. I mean, we've got plenty of StarCraft going on this week on the CranKy Ducklings channel. Mostly qualifiers and stuff. TSL qualifiers, King of Battles qualifiers. There's still another NA qualifier left for that. And of course, just our weekly events.
Yeah,
well, we're not having a CO this week, but we'll still have GPO.
We will still have GPO. We will. And yeah, if people want to tune in, if they want to tune into more of Yaku and maybe Yaku with a bit of a webcam, where can they find you, Yaku? Are you going to be streaming at some point this week? And even if you won't, where can they find you?
In the hospital.
In your room.
Otherwise known as twitch.tv. Yeah, my room in the hospital.
Oh god.
It's known as twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1, twitter.com @EmperorYakuzaku, ! Discord in the chat, which is when I bring my hospital to you.
Ooh.
And aside from that, buy my shirts. What about you, Light?
Follow me at light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I will be streaming throughout the week, or I usually do, but probably not this week just because we are so busy with all these casts, not just on our channel but on ANZ Champs as well. It's been brutal. So most likely next week and in the coming weeks you'll see some more personal streams from us. But if you want to tune into the CranKy Ducklings, then follow us on all the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, join us on Discord and YouTube, all that good stuff. We are all over the place. You can follow us there for when we go live.
Which is just about every day.
It is. It is multiple times a day, every day. Oh boy. So again, if you enjoyed our cast, then consider following us. If you want, you can go one step further. Maybe consider subscribing. Of course, the CranKy Ducklings, because of all the support we've had, we have been able to kind of branch out and have a pro team as well. We are able to fund our players. And yeah, it's all thanks to you guys in the chat that we're able to do that. And hopefully do more, especially in 2022.
Holy shit, it's November.
We're almost in 2022, mate. We're almost there. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh god. And with that, thank you everyone for watching. We will see you guys next time. Yaku, do you have anything else you want to add?
Something hospital related.
God damn it.
I was trying to come up with something.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
Bella.